Alright, I think I'm live. Alright. So, looks like everything's good. Look at that. Hello everyone. Samus is here, and today I'm starting up the stream with a bit of an announcement section. But before I get into that, disclaimer, any and all bans will result in an instant spoiler. Bans will be revoked at the end of the game. Multi-offenders will be banned until the end of the year. Or for a year from the date that you were banned. My head's all over the place dealing with some stuff. And now for updates. Update number 1 is after today, I'm going to drop my restream support. I'm fairly displeased with how things are going so far, or have been going lately. So I won't be streaming directly to YouTube, I will only be streaming to Twitch. On top of that, I will actually be recording the streams locally and uploading the raw footage directly off of my computer. What this means is that at some point in the future, if I ever get around to it, I may start doing edited streams, in which case that footage will come in handy. Because yes, while I could upload directly from Twitch, and I'll probably be doing that for a bit while I make sure my settings work for this, and that I'm not overloading my computer, it does mean that you will only be able to watch my streams on Twitch. But they will be uploaded to YouTube afterwards. This is actually done both because I am very displeased with how Restream has been going lately, and also because at some point I want to join the Twitch partnership, and in order to do that I have to agree to the terms and conditions that I do not stream to any other platforms. And while I could still stream to YouTube privately, I just feel that it would be better to record locally, and if things go wrong, I can always upload directly off of Twitch, so there isn't that big of a deal. Other announcement is, I believe last Friday, I had mentioned the fact that I didn't have air conditioning. Well, that got fixed yesterday. So yesterday they came in, they repaired the air conditioning, so now I have air conditioning again, which means I'm no longer dying of heat. It's still hot, but it's not terrible. And look! Oh my god, the Streamlabs thing up actually works for once. Final update, and this isn't that big of a deal, just wanted to announce it. OBS updated. I got an update to OBS Studio. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a really weird update. Like, graphically, it's changed mildly. All the icons are just a little bit different. It no longer has that full, like, embed look to it. I know this probably doesn't really matter. I'm just giving my opinion. Some stuff has been moved a little bit. I don't know what all this fixes or does. I just know that from a graphical standpoint, you no longer have the indented blocks anymore. It's just everything looks like it's on the same level, and it's weird. But the biggest change for me is the audio. The little audio bars are much smaller, and that's weird. Or the numbers underneath it now range from, they have more numbers on them, so I guess more dynamic ranging on it, but they're so small that it's almost unviewable. I think that's it for the updates though. But air conditioning, big thing, and also the YouTube thing, but it's really just, I'm sick of having to update the chat every day and having it crash on me, so I have to update before I start the stream, or else I don't get to see the chat. Oh wait, no, there was one more update. With the move to Twitch, I'm actually going to be removing the chat from stream at the end of Dual Destinies. So the chat will remain for Dual Destinies because I really don't want to deal with repositioning everything in the middle of streaming. So for continuity's sake, the chat will remain there. But at the end of Dual Destinies, I'll remove the chat, make the games bigger, and maybe start doing something with like backgrounds or something, I don't know. Whatever comes to mind, I guess. Techie, that's on you. I say that because Techie is the one who did the border for our Mario Party play stream from that one time, like halfway through my disappearance from the internet. And he also did the current YouTube and what should be the Twitch banner, but I don't remember if I got around to it. Anyways, 6 minutes in, update's done. Let's jump into it. And then I found out why I was having trouble hearing the game. Sorry, adjusting my audio. Also went back and fixed the counter. I forgot to update the number at the end of last stream, so it was saying 16, but I fixed it by pressing enter once. So I think we're almost at the end of day 1's investigation, and I have been on this forever. So I think I finished talking to you, yeah. Oh, good. Did I need to talk to her? Hold on. Let me remind myself. Talks to Jinxie. Wow. I accidentally amazing this. Accidentally the whole thing. I'm not going to commentate on this particular statement because I don't want to offend people, but I will say this. I don't think they make charms for that. But A for spirituality, I guess? Oh my god. I love it. I'm in a really good mood, and I don't know why, but I am. Probably air conditioning, and the fact that I actually get to stream tonight, and I don't know, I think just knowing that I won't have to deal with the stress of using Restream is helping. I'm done. If I can stick to one platform, I will be super happy, and that platform I want to be Twitch. Oh, right, Athena hasn't met Jinxie. Who was... Hold on, I've got this. Oh no. Oh, it was Trucy, that's who. Like, who was with me when I met Jinxie? Because I know I wasn't alone. I actually quite like this music. Even if it is a little, typical. But then I'm also the guy who liked the War Groove music, and that was also extremely just generic victory music. Is it victory? Triumphant music? Oh, right, there was one other reason why I decided to switch away from YouTube, and that was because this is twice now in less than a week that I've had to refresh my API key using Restream. And that just annoys me that I can't just log into Restream and have it working. And I know that's not entirely their fault, that comes down to Google and their API, and I know that lately they've been updating their APIs and stuff. And it's caused some issues with compatibility, but still, the fact that twice in a week I had to re-log into my account that's already logged in to tell Restream that it was okay to access my YouTube account and upload streams. Again, if I can deal with just one platform, I would be super happy. So that's what I'm going to do, because I think my computer will be able to handle both recording and streaming, since they'll both be done at the exact same quality, so my understanding is that shouldn't be a problem. Oh, well, the game would have answered me if I hadn't found out the answer. It was Trucy. Moving that, it's bothering me. Had a cord lying on top of another cord, weighing it down. Also, PSA. If you receive any messages, if you use Discord and you receive any messages from one of your friends in your contacts list, and it contains a link to something to do with Nitro. I didn't realize it was about Nitro, I just saw that there's a virus going around hacking people's accounts, and clicking that link and then signing in, which now makes a lot more sense. But anyways, clicking the link and signing in will give it access to your account. It will actually lock you out of your account, and then start sending your friends the same spam. So Discord has their own shortened extension. What is it called? Anyways, they shorthand their URLs with discord.gg, and this one uses discordgg.ga. It is a virus, and it will take over your account and lock you out of it, and then, you know, I've had the paranoia of what would I do if I lost access to my account and I had to create a whole new account. And, God, it would just be such a pain. Because I don't have all my friends backed up anywhere, so it'd be like, I'd have to rejoin the servers I'm already in, and deal with all of that stuff, and then... Well, admittedly, I could get access to all the Metroid-related ones. Not all of these I could easily get access back to. Some of them are invite-only, but I could easily just say, hey, my account got hacked, I need access again, and they'd probably give it, but it's mostly just I have a lot of friends who I don't have mutual servers with anymore, so that would kind of be stressful, but, you know, just a fair warning, it's a big issue. So anyone who uses Discord who doesn't know about it, I mean, yeah, but honestly, for some of my friends, I probably wouldn't notice. Except that if it said something about Discord Nitro, I'd be like, that seems fishy. But yeah, two-factor authentication is always a good step. I don't believe I have that set up, and I might go back and fix that, because the only way to recover your account is two-factor authentication. Because you have to be able to authenticate, so they'd have to hack your phone or email or something. But I think most 2FAs go through text messages or Google Authenticator and Apple Authenticator. So yeah, sorry to stop the game again to go on a really long rant about this, but you just want to make sure everyone's safe. I'd hate to have to deal with this, and I'd hate to know that other people have to deal with this, and I already know that other people have to deal with this or we wouldn't have found it, but it's still a pretty big issue, and honestly, in our modern day lives, things like this happen all the time. It's important that people recognize that it happens and knows how to properly deal with it. And two-factor authentication is always a great first step. Other steps include using special passwords on a per service basis, so every service has a different password. Can't really do much with the email, because I would not recommend creating an email for every single service. Coming from the guy with 3 emails, but one of them was a joke email, one of them I actually use for programming and stuff, so that, you know, it's more tuned for that sort of thing. It actually has multiple inboxes set up. It was created after the multiple inbox system was implemented, and I just left it at the defaults and have everything routing how Google wants me to. But I use it because I use that website or that email specifically for programming related websites. Things that I'm not expecting to get any spam emails from, aside from just the constant emails that they send out, which I just delete. I don't even care. Plus, because my email's old and was made by a 13-year-old who went with, what can I do that's really simple? How about 3 letters and 3 numbers that are contained right next to each other on the keyboard? So, you know, I wanted an email that, I call it my business email, but it's a joke. It's also a joke, sort of, but anyways. I think that's enough on the stuff that no one really... Well, one of those was something that people should know, and I feel need to know, but other stuff, just random information about me. Perhaps I will create a 4th email, my streaming email. Sole purpose is to get emails from fans, viewers. She thinks I ate Trucy, really? Yeah, we meet a lot of interesting characters. Alright, I'm going to try to get into the courtroom. I'm going to... If I don't make it to the trial, because I think this is the last part of this investigation, is talking to her. So if I don't get into the trial today, I will be shocked. Psyche locks? I'm just kidding. We haven't had Psyche locks since Trials and Tribulations. I really love that it's animated as I talk, or as Apollo talks. It's just... So, I mentioned earlier I really want to play some Wargroove, which has reignited my want to play Heroes of Might and Magic. I want to say 5, I think 5 is the one that I had, but it might have been 3. I know I had multiples of the games, I just don't remember which one I played. I think I grew up with 3, and I might have played 5 at one point, and I'm really nostalgic. Fun fact, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is the only game in the series to have a Linux port. But I can't afford to pay for it, and I'm not going to pirate a game that I really love and would support if... I don't think they're still making them. The last one that I know of was 7, which was released back in 2015. Under the name Might and Magic Heroes 7, which I thought was weird. But, my god, if I didn't absolutely love Heroes of Might and Magic 3. I don't know what it is, but there's something about just that style of gameplay that I really love, and Wargroove is somewhat similar. It's not the exact same. It's not like you have one hero leading all your troops around and you can only have up to, like, I think it's 9 separate groups of troops, but it has some very similar systems. The battle system also isn't the same, as with splitting all the units up into their own groups and only being able to group units in, like, 4s, and the units are based on a percentage of health, which directly correlates the amount of units that appear in the cutscenes, or battle scenes. It doesn't have the full-on, like, grid battle system that I really loved in Heroes of Might and Magic. But also, you would instantly lose if you lost your captain in Wargroove, and in Heroes of Might and Magic you just have to go back and hire a new hero, and then build up your force again. I really want to play it. It's also multiplayer, but I don't think it's online multiplayer. And if it is, then Heroes of Might and Magic 7 would probably be the only one with a server that's still running, considering that Heroes of Might and Magic 1, 2, and 3, I believe 3 was 98. Heroes of Might and Magic 1 and 2 were... No, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 was 99, I think 2 was either 95 or 98. These are DOS games, or originally released for DOS and like early versions of Windows. They're really old games. They ran really well on XP. And I think I had 5 running on 7. I think my brother had a copy, so I borrowed his copy. I didn't play it very much. I don't know what it was, but there was something about the difference between 3 and 5 that made me dislike 5 and really only want to play 3. Also, I think they might have had a LAN. I think it was Hot Seat and LAN multiplayer. I don't think that they had online multiplayer. In fact, it would make sense they wouldn't have online multiplayer back in, well, 99. I don't know too much about the series as a whole. I just know that I really loved the game, and I was too young to really pay too much attention to anything. Just really liked building up a base to unlock new units, to level up your units, and then just... I wouldn't even play seriously, I'd just run around collecting stuff. It was fun. I actually kind of want to create a game similar to Heroes of Might and Magic 3. And if I go about it correctly, I could easily get away with it. I say that as if I'm doing something wrong, and the reality is that I'm really not. I mean, Wargroove is a fairly different clone of Advance Wars. They play very similarly. So, you know, I just... Again, money. I have some ideas for how I would do it, I don't remember the games well enough to make a good clone. Oh, hey! Text boxes can update. That's nice. No longer just adds another one down, although that does mean you can't reread anything in case you... Oh, wait. Yes, you can. How far back does this go? It doesn't go too far back. So I can't reread everything. If I reach a certain point, it will stop recording the older stuff. I know that Advance Wars... Wait. What do you mean update occasionally in the DS games? Like Advance Wars? Oh! Oh, yeah, like in the older versions. Alright. So in the older versions, as I think we saw with Apollo Justice, you could have up to 4 dialogue choices, at a time on screen. And once you ran out, it would start clearing out some of the older ones, and replace them with newer ones, which would block you out from being able to reread some of the older dialogue in the event that, say, you went missing for a week and forgot what was going on. You couldn't check up on everything, and this game, well, you have the log, but the log only goes so far. It doesn't even go back to where I started this game, it goes back to when shortly after I started talking to her. Which is fine. I mean, can you imagine how much, like, how much system, can you just imagine how much space it would take up to log every single bit of dialogue without limiting it? But no, unlike that, this game, I don't know if it limits you on the number of dialogue options. I haven't played far enough in to find out, really. I actually probably have, but I haven't really paid attention. But in this game, it seems like if one dialogue box leads to another one, it just overwrites the previous route, so that you only get the updated one. That is true. It could just store numbers. And then, I don't know, display what, up to 3 at a time? I have no idea where this is going. All that I can think is that so far, I know of 2 particular instances in which we had to deal with flying people. Both of them involving ropes, and not actual people, interestingly enough. One was a bust, one was a trophy. I guess, yeah, if it stored everything in the log. If it just stored everything directly in the log, but like... Alright, if you changed this to only display 3 at a time, and when you hit up, it scrolled up 3, it would start to lag the higher up you go, or the further away from the current branch. Although, if you use linked lists, those do really well for pulling at random points. So that might work. If you only show 3 at a time, it only has to hold 3 in memory. And then it can branch from those 3, based off of, say, a linked list that contains every single dialogue node and their location and history when you viewed them. Already telling. Wait. Are you sure? I thought linked lists were good for random access. Which one was random access? Hash maps? Is it maps? I don't really feel like researching this while I'm streaming, so... I should know these things, I've worked with all of them. Maybe it's hash maps. What the hell is the purpose of a linked list? Oh wait, linked lists, I bet, loop through the list very quickly. Ah. No, I think hash maps give, like, instead of storing everything synchronously. Alright, yeah. Yeah, because if you loop through a linked list, that would be faster. But if you wanted random access, I think it's hash maps, because I think hash maps keep a value of the previous node and the next node. And then you can literally just jump through the hashes instead of jumping through the values. I think that's right. Going off of my memory, because one of these is really good. I missed something. I agree with her there. Apollo thinks like a demon. I think Trucy's panties have really gotten to his head. So I'm guessing that a stack in queue would be more efficient to implement as a linked list, as opposed to, say, an array. And I think hash maps... Again, you'd have to verify this with me, but I think hash maps are good for jumping around, because all it has to do is follow a path of nodes versus reading all of it. But he hasn't answered the hash maps question. I figured as much, though. Alright, so if I recall correctly, linked lists are really fast when pulling data off of either end, which makes sense. It's a quick Google search. I've used hash maps. A little bit, not much. I find them to be complicated in Java. And I've never used one in C++ because I'm not even aware if C++ has that built in. I'm used to vectors. If I need something done, I use a vector. If I need, you know. Well, no, because I think that C++ standard template library has stacks and queues. Might have maps. I don't know, I don't really work with anything other than vectors and arrays. I feel like this is wrong, but I don't know enough about wrestling to determine if she's telling the truth. Okay, he did say staff. I misread. I believe the word you were looking for here is needlessly. Gonna need a grammar Nazi counter next. Just steal this counter. Just change the words a little bit. All the same. Oh good, I have a statement. I think I know who the murderer is. I just don't know how we're going to get there. I had the save icon. This is decent. Oh, the game's gonna teleport me. I see how it is. Or maybe he's out trying to hide the fact that he's a murderer. I've already fingered my suspect. Now I just have to find some way to prove that it was him. It's either the Bell or Filch. Those are my only two suspects right now. And only one of them hasn't been seen by us. Lag? Weird. Not sure if actual lag or audio lag. Isn't it? Isn't it A rank amateurs? That was a pretty bad attempt at flattery, not gonna lie. Who's holding it? Who is... This guy's a murderer. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. This guy is a murderer. Alright, he's the murderer. I don't even care anymore. I can skip this, I know how it ends. I am the... I am the pretty? I knew that, I'm just trying to remember. Because the word pretty in French is actually dependent on gender. And I'm pretty sure Belle is feminine, especially because it ends in an E. Which in French is usually a sign of a word being feminine. And I think beau is masculine. My memories of 6 years of French, and I still don't speak the language. Alright, he's already called me a peasant. Didn't take very long. Took about 2 minutes, I think, for him to call me a peasant, so he's the murderer. And if not, I'm pressing charges. I'll find a reason later. I like the music, but my god, this guy is driving me crazy. Objection! Wait, hold on, no, that's not it. Gotcha! You have to add in the lag too, because that stream was just a laggy mess. Also, this is the second character in 2 games. Just uses a book while they're talking. Just pulls out a book and starts flipping the pages. Plot twist. This is the exact same sprite as before. They haven't changed anything. It's not. I know it's not, but... Now this might just be because I've been watching Resident Evil 2 lately, and I just got to a, really, really dark section. But I'm now convinced that this guy's both a murderer and involved in creating a virus that turns people into super mutant zombies. Do you mind if I... Okay. It's not even fun looking for the grammar errors. It's just everywhere. I mean, I knew that the later games started getting really weird with the typos and stuff. It really feels like they've dropped their quality in terms of text, but it's not even fun anymore. It's just, oh, by the way, we forgot a word here, forgot words here, forgot stuff here, sentences don't make sense anymore. Next thing you know, we're just going to replace all the characters with question marks because we don't even have a font installed. Do you mind if I ask whether you believe in the village superstitions? I don't think that's how she wanted to phrase that. This is just me, and I'm going to nitpick on this one particular thing because that's not how I've ever seen this spelled. Police is spelled P-U-H-lease. And I'm sure that this is valid, but I've never seen anyone spell it like this, forgetting the H. So I don't know if they forgot the H, or simply decided this is how they wanted to spell it. This is also some really intense music. Oh, well, I know why you'd say that, because you're the murderer. It's not even subtle anymore. Now he's admitting to... I mean, he's not really admitting to anything, but I feel like now he is outright implying that he silences those who seek to prosecute him. I'm also kind of tired of people calling Apollo a monster or telling him he looks like it. I don't know why. I was perfectly fine with it in Phoenix Wright Trilogy. I guess I'm just sick of it. It's just... It wasn't quite as often in the Phoenix Wright Trilogy. Every once in a while someone would point out his spiky hair, but it wasn't like every single case someone had to comment on his spiky hair. Or I'm simply choosing to forget these things so that I can justify games that I prefer. Nostalgia value was real. I also misread the word talking, and thought he said laughing, but still. Objection. I think I found another witness who I want to pull out a gun and point it at them on the witness stand. Unfortunately, I don't have a gun. That will forever be my favorite part of Apollo Justice, though. I don't believe in this guy's alibi. By the way, that jumpsuit you're wearing looks ugly. That's not me talking. It says so right here in your file. On other people, it looks perfectly fine, but on you, it's ugly. You have to reference Portal whenever you can, and I need to plug in the 2DS. Hey look, I didn't call it a 3DS this time. But now I have three wires going in the same place, and they're all... they're still organized. Not how I wanted to. I actually wanted the charger to be on the outside, not in the middle, but still. I would have kept going on with the reference, but I'm going to need someone to look up the thing. Is it stupid? That's it. It's not... Sorry, I'm trying to find it. Well, someone managed to complete that test chamber without using the portal gun. Alright, so I can't find a non-10-minute long video of that, so that jumpsuit you're wearing looks stupid, I guess. Anyways, I would have kept going, but I can't remember the full words. Objection! Objection! I lost my objection. Oh well. You know, there's something about this guy, and I haven't been able to put my fingers on it. But I think I figured it out. I really just want to give LaBelle a boot to the head. Could he be any more obviously the villain? Objection. Objection. I can do this. Objection. It was? I can't remember that far back. That was like 2 weeks ago. Holy crap, it has been such a long time. I am still convinced he's the murderer. No, oh, right, I remember. There's something that I've been practicing and I really want to say, but I need someone to prompt it first. And I doubt it will ever happen. Alright, I'm gonna go back to Apollo Justice to play through the first case. Whichever case they prompted that thing that I want to prompt me to do something, to say something in a very specific voice, because no one but myself will get it, because Metal Gear. Specifically Metal Gear 1 and 2 and 4. I think it's done in 4. Objection! I can't do it! I can't do Kristoff's objection. I can't even get the inflection right anymore. I used to be good at that. Alright, so... So Phoenix Wright has the Majitama. I know we've been over this before, but Phoenix Wright has the Majitama, Apollo Justice has the bracelet, and she has Widget. She's the only person using technology to fine-tune her abilities. That makes me sad. Is it just me, or does... Is it just me, or does Apollo seem to be a little closed-minded to her ability to hear, or skeptical, I guess I should say, to her ability to hear emotions, while he's able to literally sense, or not even sense, he can see when people are hiding something? Like, he can literally see it. With the use of a bracelet. It's not that far off to believe that she can hear it. Come on, I just want to get to the trial. It's looking more and more like we're never getting to the trial. Oh wait, I forgot. The mayor is my client. I want a sound test, and I want that sound test to contain all of the objections in all of the games. Just so I can sit here and spam the Kristoff objection. Because it's hilarious. It's one of the funniest objections because it just sounds so weird. Why is he wearing apples? Is he animated? He is animated. But I do not see the fact that he's actually moving. For like 20 seconds it looked like he was just sitting still, and then I saw this tiniest movement and I was like, wait a minute, he is moving. He's also wearing apples. I'll let it slide because I've been on Reddit, and honestly, I've seen much, much, much worse. He at least shows some level of care versus some of the entitled parents posts I've seen recently. I'm considering starting up a Reddit reactions series. I don't have a webcam. Couldn't see I was shaking my head. I'm joking. I can imagine two different types of reactions, but the reality is that the only one reaction that I'd expect to get is a "don't be that guy," or, you know, something very, very negative against me doing it, and I'm just like, honestly, sometimes I feel like double standards are an issue. They are an issue, always an issue, but there really are like two very extreme sides to everything that goes on YouTube. You know, you have the people who want YouTubers to do Reddit reacts, and then you have the people who are like, you're an idiot for liking this, and I hate you all, and you're all stupid. And I'm just like, I don't get what the big deal is. If you don't like the content, don't watch it. There are other people. It's not to say that I would do it. The reality is that the subreddits I enjoy wouldn't lead to very good reaction videos. Because I enjoy the ones that have a lot of text that you read. I enjoy reading the stories. It's kind of taken over for reading books and similar. But I actually stopped reading books a long time ago in favor of reading fan fictions. And then I kind of, I don't know, lost interest in reading as a whole. I say that as I play games that are entirely text-based. Hold on. We haven't even introduced the idea that she has tormentors, and you're already ready to go start spilling blood. Well, he's not entitled, I'll give him that. He's overprotective, just a little bit, just a smidge overprotective. But he's not entitled, so he's got at least one thing going for him. I just remembered one of my favorite entitled parent stories, and I'm just going to give you the basis of the entire story. Which is, my child got straight A's, so he deserves your house. Just still one of the funniest things I've seen on Reddit so far. The ridiculous notion that that's an okay thing to do, and then the realization that they put absolutely no thought into that sentence. I've put more thought into that sentence than the parent did, and my first thought was, well, who's gonna pay the mortgage? If not for the hassle of moving out of a house and going to live somewhere else, I would totally be like, okay, and then not pay the mortgage. You can have the house. Your name won't be on it, on the deed. You won't own the house. You won't have electricity, you won't have water, you won't have internet, you won't have anything. Unless you're willing to pay for it yourself. And I won't sell you the house. Which, all these thoughts are what just came to me right now. It's just one of the funniest things. I mean, you see a lot of really ridiculous stuff where it's like, my child got straight A's in school, or my child is better than you, so give me all your super expensive stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, but then give me your house. Not even give me your house, it's, my child deserves your house, so that he can live there. And I'm just like, you have not thought of any of this. And it was just the escalation up to that point. I don't want to give out the entire story. It's just the entire point leading up to that made no sense. It really just sort of, it went from being kind of creepy with how some of it was phrased to, my child deserves your house. Out of the blue, just, my child deserves your house. Which came from a completely separate issue that had nothing to do with the house directly. It's just, you just see some great stuff on Reddit, and then I see a bunch of stuff that pisses me off. Just because of all the misinformation that exists, and just how stupid some people are. I don't know if, like, I should really be that judgmental, but there are some questions that people ask that I'm just like, I legitimately cannot think of how you've gotten this far in your life and not figured out some of these questions. Because I have seen some explain like I'm 5 questions that I'm like, because basic, just basic logic. Basic common sense would give you the answer to this. I don't see why this is a question. And one question that really made me think about the fact that there are some things I just know. No real explanation for how I know them, just, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that it works, so I question it. And the question I saw today was, how do radio waves travel in space if there is no air? And at that I was like, you're an idiot. And then I sat back and I thought, and I was like, I mean, obviously they travel through space without air. So it isn't really a question of, like, do they, so much as a question of how. And I was just like, I guess I just happen to understand that that's just the way that it works. But then I also took physics. You know what? I didn't even learn that in physics. Or did I? Shoot, did I? I can't remember what I learned in physics. I took physics twice because I failed the first year and I still don't know physics. Is it physics that I learned about how waves work? I think that was 7th grade science. No, 8th grade. I think that was 8th grade science that I learned about waves and the different types of waves and how they travel. And I probably learned a little bit in physics. I think we did do some stuff with waves in physics, at least in my 10th, 11th year. But you know, I'm just like, they just travel because waves, not all waves, radio waves especially, don't need a medium to travel through. Sound waves do. I don't know why. I don't know, you know, I'm just used to the idea that radio waves, microwaves, all these things, UV rays, you know, everything but sound waves can travel through space, and that's a generalized statement, but, you know, the ones that we typically deal with, especially, travel through space, because they don't need air as a medium. But sound requires a medium, and I don't know why. Actually, I do. It's because sound is a vibration. So anything that requires vibration would require a medium, because it requires particles for it to travel through that it vibrates. Which is why sound can travel through solid walls, underwater, and in the air. I don't know when this became a physics stream, but I just answered my own question, so. I can't wait to get into a game that I don't have to stop to go on a small rant. I mean, I absolutely love these games, and I enjoy streaming them. I find it very difficult to keep up with commentary while playing it. Because I'm unable to hold up a conversation or keep commentary going and read and comprehend these things. You know, for games that aren't entirely text-based, it's fine to stop every once in a while to read information and lore. Especially because I would actually read that stuff out loud. I just refuse to read all of this. Wait. Well, this is new. I wasn't able to perceive outside of court previously. I didn't get another reaction. We all have magical powers. Actually, no, in case 3 of Apollo Justice, you were able to tell when, Tobai was, when he was lying outside of court, but you couldn't perceive it until he was on trial, but the game told you that he was hiding something, to hint at the fact that in that trial you would have to prove that he could speak English. Which was important for some reason. Or at least understand it. Well, I mean, she can hear their emotions. But Phoenix Wright doesn't have anything really magical about himself, he just has the Majitama. Majitama, I guess... Yeah, the Majitama just shows him the locks, and he uses, I don't know, logic? He uses Edgeworth's logic system. Edgeworth has mystical powers, he can use logic. Which, in this day and age, in some of the stuff I've seen, and heard, and read, is a magical gift. Not everyone is able to do logic. This scene transition dialogue is bothering me. It just looks weird. I'm staring at OBS. And it's just like, yeah, that's weird. Wait, so... Wait, I actually perceive outside of... Oh my god. Wait, you've moved the thing to the wrong screen. It's on the upper screen now. It's gonna flip back down. Oh, yeah. Speed up. I imagine it has to do with in terms of tourism. I didn't even notice that.
Gotcha!
Oh right, we have new voices now. Gotcha! I think it is this.
Take that!
I like this guy. Have I mentioned I like him? No, that's not it. Oh no, that's Ninetales Vale. I think
Take
it's
that!
this. Yep. I think I'm already too tired for this. Oh, yeah. Oh, read the description, yeah. Sorry, my arm itches. seems upset. Da-da. Oh good, it flipped over with the exact same prompt. From LaBelle. From LaBelle. From LaBelle. Have I mentioned I think LaBelle is the murderer? I don't think I mentioned that. By the way, I think LaBelle is the murderer. Also, an answer of her question from LaBelle. It's LaBelle. Me? No, wait. LaBelle. Of course it was. Because Alderman was the Kitsune. Oh good. Hold on, but first... I don't remember if he reacted. You are gonna pay me though, right? I need the money. The Alderman was impossible. I mean, I know that that just requires taking out all the punctuation, but still. I am really tired. I haven't been sleeping well lately. Yeah, Techie, didn't I just say that? I've also been saying LaBelle is the murderer for the past, oh, I don't know, 30 minutes-ish? Possibly longer. Of course it did. Because LaBelle. From LaBelle. Alright. I think I can still get to the trial. Oh, good, he's fine. I was worried he wasn't fine, but we're back to him saying he's fine, so I think he's fine. I wonder how many parts this case is. Or, more specifically, if there's a... Like I said, I'm tired, just yawned. If there's a investigation day 2, because I really don't want there to be. I want to get through this game. Oh, I guess I didn't save. Oh, I have to back out of the save menu. I'm used to the save and continue. Huh, at some point I dropped 12 frames. I didn't even notice, but I am having some lag with the system. Not even lag, just it doesn't seem to be fully transmitting. I've seen the screen flick 2 times now. And who knows how many times it's flicked when I wasn't looking, so it looks like there's an issue with the connection. Now, if only I could hook this thing up directly to GLaDOS, and have it transmit the signal over an Ethernet connection instead of over a Wi-Fi connection, which it has to share with every other device on the network. Ah, I saw it again. This time with the bottom screen. Yeah, well, if you want to come in here and punch some holes in the walls and attic and run an Ethernet cable that we don't have through the house, be my guest, but I can't afford an Ethernet cable long enough to go from the router into my room. As much as I would absolutely love that. But we need a really long Ethernet cable. Alright, now all we need to do is clean up my room, move the desk again, which would... Well, actually, if we could do it all in one day, I could easily clean up my room over the course of a week, take a weekend. Actually, yeah, if we did it over the weekend. But you'd still need permission from my stepfather, and he'd probably do it himself. And then we'd still have to run the cable. Hey, I have air conditioning. Not in the attic, but I do have air conditioning. Also not sure why you sent that in the mod chat. Oops, I just gave away the biggest secret of Multi-Dark Samus's Incorporated. Which is that I have a Discord server specifically. I saw that! Anyways, I have a Discord server specifically for mod stuff. Which may someday be turned into the Multi-Dark Samus's streaming server. And I may just open it up to viewers and stuff, but first I need viewers, and yeah. Oh hey, we finally have an explanation for the I'm fine. My name is Apollo Justice, and I am... Stop doing that! Oh wait, hold on, we're outside of the trial. How long can I prolong... For how long can I prolong this trial in order to force people to wonder who this well, actually, all in all, there's probably a decent amount of people who don't know who this prosecutor is. I don't know who he is, but there's also probably a decent amount of people who do. And the people I would expect to tune into this stream are the people who say, I don't know, are the people who've already played it and have an interest in the Ace Attorney games. Although I guess could be people who've played previous Ace Attorney games and are interested in just watching someone else play it, in which case Now I hate myself because I do a very bad job of streaming this game. Oh, hi, Phoenix. Oh, it's so good to have him back. I know that we've already had a trial with him, but I never really took the time to say this. I'm really glad that we have him back to his normal attorney look and feel, as opposed to, oh, I don't know, the Phoenix Wright. He almost looked homeless, honestly, in the previous game. Just didn't look great. The hoodie on, and I know why. It had the camera and everything, and it was documenting 7 years worth of information, all to find one person guilty of murder. Oh wait, he isn't an attorney yet? Oh wait, yeah, he doesn't have the attorney's badge. Also, he has a chain. That's new. Oh, you know what? He did have his attorney's badge in the first trial, and this takes place a couple months before the first trial, so obviously he gets it back. How about in the trial that happens after this one? Alright, I'm getting really annoyed with the fact that NTR is having trouble. It should be fine. I haven't changed any settings, which might be a problem. Perhaps I need to change settings. Perhaps I need to update OBS Studio again. Also, don't tell Techie, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to getting a new computer and installing Windows on it. But don't tell Techie. He's not allowed to know. So, Techie, go back in time, mute the section that I don't want you to know, and don't know it. Hey, I don't like you. The reality is, I've gotten to a point where there's enough reason for me to have Windows again, that honestly, I will still need Linux though. There are some issues I haven't quite solved yet, but I will discuss those with you at a later date. I've reached a point where there are games I want to play that simply don't exist on Linux, and I'd really like them to exist on Linux, but it just seems like I'm wasting my time. More than half of my Steam wishlist requires Windows, and I want those games really badly. I can't afford them right now. Like, I can't afford a Windows key, even though I should have a legitimate copy of Windows, but Microsoft won't activate my virtual machine, even though I am using a completely 100% legitimate Windows 7 key. Which, honestly, they should... I think I expected Windows 10 to work a little bit differently than it actually does. What I expected was that once you activated a copy of Windows 10, say, you know, from a free Windows 7 upgrade that I happen to have the key for because I had a laptop that stopped running Windows. Something happened, it wouldn't run Windows, so we installed Linux. That's how I got into Linux 6 years ago. 7 years ago? 6 or 7 years ago. You know, but I had some trouble with it. So I used that key, and what I expected was that Microsoft would essentially remember that you have a copy of Windows 10 and allow you to authenticate. But it doesn't work that simply. It essentially authenticates for that device. Now, I'm trying to figure out how I can... That's not important. I just, you know, I don't have a copy of Windows 10 or Windows 7 running on anything. I'd like to be able to use this key to have a legitimate copy of Windows. Because I should have a legitimate copy of Windows 10, because I had Windows 7 at the time that they gave out the free upgrade. Even if it wasn't installed and running, I still should have that. And I don't want to pay $100 for an operating system just to play games that I'm going to have to spend more than $100 getting all of. The investment's just not worth it. I don't like Windows that much, but I'm willing to accept the fact that I need to dual boot. And the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, I probably wouldn't even boot into Linux that often. And it would make development a lot easier, because, you know, I could develop on Windows. All the IDEs, all the tools I use work for Windows. All of my code is cross-platform. Don't know why I'm talking about all of this on stream, but, you know, all my code is cross-platform. So, it would really be as simple as, oh, hey, I need to compile and test this on Linux, let me boot into Linux, and now I have access to the Windows file system and the Linux file system, so I can easily just compile and run if I'm working in C++ or run in Java, or I guess I could compile and run the Java code so that I can make sure that it is compiling, but still. My biggest issue is something that I will discuss with Techie. My biggest issue, though, is my existing files and file system, which I'm going to set up as a network share off of current GLaDOS when I get Carolyn. At which point I wouldn't have access to that from Windows because it's running on an ext4 system, and I don't think that they'll share between each other. I will discuss this further in DMs, though. I agree, it does make them look like $1 million. Honestly, that's something that's confused me about VMs. There's one major thing that VMware Workstation and VirtualBox both do that I don't understand how it works, and that is shared folders from an ext4 partition to a Windows VM. Obviously, at some point, it is running a driver somewhere that allows Windows to talk to it directly, without knowing that it is an ext4 partition. Which suggests that actually, depending on the network protocol, it probably does like a, I don't know, I can't think of how to phrase it, but like, the files themselves are ext4. And on the machine they're ext4, but essentially the server tells Windows what the data is, and Windows says, okay. So it essentially emulates running a FAT32 or NTFS, probably NTFS, system, even though it's actually ext4. Because Windows natively cannot read ext. Which I think is silly, and I think they should implement that, even though there's almost no purpose for it. Because ext4 is really just a Linux thing. Technically, it's a Unix thing, designed to handle specific file permissions, I think. Pretty sure ext4's primary purpose is just that it has some very, very specific ways of handling file permissions, and also massive file sizes. I believe max file size is greater than the largest hard drive, or very close to. I don't remember what it is on ext4, but it's a number so big that I don't think, unless you downloaded the internet, you'll never reach it. And if you downloaded the internet, you could just put it on the ext4 partition and the file would fit. Or at least part of it would fit. The internet is pretty big. Although, there is one major thing, which is that most of the files currently on GLaDOS are Linux files. They wouldn't serve too much purpose except for Mage. They wouldn't serve any purpose running on Windows. But the primary reason, well, no, because the primary reason to set up the network share and not just move everything over is that I want access to the files without having to sort through all the files and figure out what's important to have and what isn't important to have. So, you know, just give myself access to the system. Oh yeah. I guess you technically don't need Linux with Windows, but I'm still going to keep my, I'm going to keep a Linux dual boot. I'm going to dual boot with Linux. I know I am going to do that. I'm not getting rid of Linux completely, but yeah. So, I don't think I've mentioned what my special stream plan is. I've been hinting at it for quite a while. Well, I've been teasing the fact that after Ace Attorney, there's another series I already have planned. However, it is going to require a Windows machine. It's a game that runs on Linux, but the Linux build is handled by a different company, and no, I'm not telling anyone what this plan is. Techie knows because he's involved in it. It's going to be the first collaborative stream that we do, probably, depending on how long it takes. But the Linux build is like one version behind the Windows build, and the Linux and macOS builds are on the same version. So either he'd have to install Linux to use the older version, or I'd have to install Windows to use the newer version. And so, either they release the update by the time I finish Ace Attorney, or I get Carolyn set up at some time next year, I think. At the rate this is going, I won't have the money this year to build Carolyn. Which is unfortunate, but still. But yeah, most of the files on this machine, though, actually could be used on Windows, you know, OpenOffice, stuff like that. Most of it's just documents, and, most of it is just text files that I can't be bothered to sort through, and some stuff that I want moved over on a fresh install of Linux, some stuff that I've built from source and all that. Although, admittedly, I probably won't be using an Ubuntu-based Linux distro. Not after the shit that Canonical has tried to pull with Ubuntu 1910. I am very displeased with them, but that is a different conversation for a different stream that I will probably not do. Why am I going to discuss the really terrible strategies of Canonical on a stream that isn't about Linux? Because I'm that pissed off by it, about it. I'll give you the basic explanation. For Ubuntu 1910, which is, Ubuntu is a very popular Linux distro. It's beginner friendly and fairly powerful. Canonical is the company that handles the builds for it and the distribution, each version, all the updates and everything. They have said that for 1910, their next long-term support OS, they are dropping 32-bit support completely. They will no longer be distributing 32-bit packages or anything, so all i386, I think, is going to die. They won't exist in the repos, which in turn means that depending on the derived versions of Linux, the distros like KDE Neon or Kubuntu, anything really that has Ubuntu, and anything that derives from Ubuntu, unless the people in charge of those add their own repos, we aren't going to have 32-bit support. Which means that Valve has outright stated they will no longer be be recommending Ubuntu to users, and instead we'll find a different version of Linux to support with Steam. What this means is that Steam won't work on Ubuntu 19.10 because so many games on Steam rely on 32-bit libraries, because it's easier to build for 32-bit and distribute that than it is to build a 32-bit and 64-bit version of a game. Because limitations, you know. If you design a game to run 64-bit, you're probably not going to backport it to 32-bit depending on the game, because you'd end up losing some compatibility. So, you know, it's just it's things like that that are pushing me away from Linux. Just the Linux community as a whole is fairly toxic and bad from my experience. So I'm just like, I love Linux. I love what I can do with Linux. I absolutely love it. But it's reaching a point where it's becoming increasingly annoying to use. I hate Windows. I really do. But Windows 10 isn't terrible. It'll take me some time getting used to how it stores files and where everything is stored, and just, it'll be annoying, but at least stuff will work. I can use the Windows version of OBS Studio and everything will work fine, but that's still a long way down the road. I will be sticking to KDE Neon until I build Carolyn, and then once I build Carolyn, I'll do some research and decide what to do from there. Anyways, I may cut this short. I'm going to definitely meet the prosecutor, but at the first cross-examination, I'm going to cut the stream. Why do all my streams turn into tech talks? Probably just because that's what I know. It's what I'm used to and what I'm passionate about. By the way, did I mention Labella's the murderer? I'm pretty sure he's the murderer. I don't know for certain, but I've decided that he's the murderer, so if he's not the murderer and I'm wrong, I'll find some way to make me right. Phoenix, right. Attorney well, no, because I don't have my attorney's badge. Oh yeah! Forgot the door's open and everything. And it says all rise now, even though everyone's not rising. This is some intense. Is it just me, or is his hair toned down a lot for this game? No, that's right. I swear it looked different in... I swear it was different in, Apollo Justice, but I looked it up and it looks about the same. Just two-dimensional instead of three-dimensional. I've never seen him so happy with the defense. I wonder how long that's gonna last. I guess the prosecution has refused to return after the bomb issue. Yeah, he said complication. I read compliance, and I was like, did he say complication or compliance? Because I can kind of see both of those working, but not really, but sort of. I love how the judge just doesn't care. The judge is just like, I don't care. Oh my god.
Yup, Prosecutor Blackwell's an inmate.
Thank you, I hadn't quite figured that out. So I'm almost certain that at some point his backstory is going to be fully explained. So is this the reason why this game is rated M? Is it just that cutscene?
But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
I don't trust this guy. I don't want him to be a prosecutor. I'm pretty sure that him being in jail would take away his prosecutor's badge. But also, him being in jail, he should not be serving as a prosecutor. And he has his back to the court. Yep. He's an inmate. Almost as good as a dud. Objection. Oh my god, the animations! Oh, it's so good! Well, that's okay, because we'll have to deal with him for 3 more trials after this. He's still in handcuffs. I like the music, but the lyrics could use a little work. I didn't stream that game. That was, Justice for All. Turnabout Big Top. I guess I want to hear his objection. This guy is a prosecutor, and he's the rudest prosecutor I've ever met. And I met Manfred von Karma. This dude's just like, do away with everything. I think we have reincarnated Manfred von Karma, and he's mad. Very mad. Worse than ever before. I am very upset. Oh good, we've got this music. God, this guy's a jerk. Oh my god, Judge. Oh, gee. You know what? It's a nice change of pace now. I'd much rather... I'd rather deal with Filch than deal with this prosecutor, and I have a feeling he's going to be prosecutor for quite some time. And I also imagine one of these cases is going to delve into his backstory. He doesn't seem happy. Shocked face. Your platitudes. Not that surprising. Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. After all, my last name is Justice. I'm Apollo Justice. I really don't want to get too far into this, but I've also been really looking forward to this. But now that I know the prosecutor, I'm not looking forward to this at all. So, that's where I'm calling this stream. Tired. And when I come back, we'll get right into the cross-examination and prove once and for all that the murderer is none other than Black Quill. How do outros work? I don't have a button to press to do outros, so... thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have... I don't really care. I mean, obviously I do care. How does English work? If you have, rating would be very much appreciated, and if you haven't, a rating and a comment and criticism and all that jazz. I don't know, I'm not good at this. Just do this for fun. See you next mission.